A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah. Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my pocket's that deep.
With
With nothing to prove, I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit.
Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum. I'm your host, Nick Days. At Nick Days 10 as you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. My dog looking super Miami right now.
Well, let me just go one button down.
Oh, now you're at 305 till you die.
Yeah, dude. This is velvet. This is the shit that you see in like old Cadillacs. Something slick. Yeah, Forever 21, like they've grown their sizes. Have you ever shopped at Forever 21?
I haven't, no.
Their men's section used to be like literally like this big, and I'm not exaggerating, like my wingspan. And now it's like a full, decked out section. And then they only used to have like ugly fat people clothes like hoodies and shit for like 2X. But now look at this. Look at this. A little extra fabric. Only like $13. Yeah.
I fuck with it.
Yeah, you rock high-end fashion.
Oh, come on, bro.
You
Don't
are-
do this to me. Am I bougie?
I think you're a hype beast.
I am.
You're a hype beast,
I
dude.
definitely am. Yeah. Especially when it comes to the sneaker game. Real quick, if we could just get the sneakers.
Get a peep on those.
Yeah, a little dunk action.
Yeah, I won't show you my.
Can I push back a little bit because you're insulting my character?
Well, I don't think being a hype beast is a bad thing. I think that fashion is one of the most important things a person could have.
Yeah.
If you don't have fashion, like, I judge the shit out of you.
Yeah, I feel that way when I first meet people, and especially like dudes. I look at their shoes. It's like a big tale for me. Now I get it. If you're like at work and stuff, like it's cool.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, if we go out and it's like, I'm
You're
not saying,
wearing some Skechers. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, well, fuck, dude, I can't go out with you
come
too
on,
much longer.
bro. Like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
But
They're
also,
comfortable. Shut the fuck up. Like, those are some weak ass shoes, dude.
Yo, for real. Or the biggest pet peeve I have, and one of my friends told me this a while back. He's like, "Yo, this is gonna be the best advice I ever give you about sneakers." I was like, "What?" He's like, "If Mike didn't wear them, you don't want them." So like those like Jordan like. I don't even know how to describe them, but the non-retros, like the non-numbered Jordans, like the 6 rings and shit like that. Like even though the 6 ring is
combination of the numbers. No, these are like 11 6s, or like, like they just are mashing up all the different. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's the Jordans that they're just named something.
They're so
not
fucking bulky. You know which ones we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're just the
Like,
bulkiest
if they're not
shoes you've ever
if they're
seen.
not retros, if they're not numbered, you can't wear them.
Mm-mm.
And look, I do like, as I've gotten older, I think because I'm making money, I'm buying a lot nicer clothes. But I'm a big outlet guy, bro.
Yeah,
I shop at outlets.
I'm not saying that you don't know how to shop for a deal. You care about it,
Oh,
but
cool.
your aesthetic fits like hype beast.
I like that.
But like when you're in
I
the
like that.
production industry, you're either approaching hype beast, you're not hype beast, and you're behind the camera type guy. But even though, what, I take that back. Some of the flyest people I've ever seen are holding the camera. And I'm just like, damn. You must be getting paid nice.
Must be very nice. Treat me than just in that fly.
Facts. Yeah. Yeah, production people, you're a hype beast.
Okay.
You're on camera every week, multiple times a week.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to be wearing, the same shit? No.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's a good point, man.
Yeah, it's a good excuse to shop.
Dude, I dress nicer to go and record and go to the studio than I do like when I go out on regular shit.
Very
like
true.
literally everything else I would consider regular shit.
Yeah. It's a cash vibe. That's why working here at the studio, like I used to dress like shit as a teacher when I taught. I was just like, hoodie, soft shorts, and then just call it a day. I looked like a PE teacher. But here, I've been on 3 shows today.
Fire.
So I gotta be looking
sharp,
good.
gotta be looking good.
Yup.
Let's go, man. All right, let's dive into some football. Heavy football on this episode. And I want to discuss what everyone's talking about, George. Your thoughts on the NFL banning the hip drop tackle.
It's pointless. And you said that my take is the same as everyone else's, so I just will paint the scenario. You're in the open field with Derrick Henry, and you have to stop him. And if you grab onto him, my first instinct, if I was to grab onto Derrick Henry, would not be to run through him. It would be to weigh him down to the ground. And I think it's going to be one of those things where, just like the pass interference, reviewing the pass interference rule, it'll be here for a year, and then you're going to see how tragic that this rule change makes the game, because a lot of the calls will be missed, and then a lot of the calls will happen in big moments, and then everyone will be like, this is pointless.
I couldn't agree with you more about the pass interference analogy, because it was spot on.
Yep.
And it all happened because of a massive overreaction to a big moment. Your Saints and Rams in that playoff game, the no PI. And then what ended up happening was the next year when they implemented that you could challenge pass interference calls, I think the number was like 94%. It was in the 90s of the initial was the right call.
Right.
Right? Like, they were right. And anytime you get to subjective, it's always a shit show.
Agreed.
And that's what this hip drop tackle rule is also, because how are you going to measure it? Are you going to measure what happens if you tackled a guy and he just gets up fine? You know, Mark Andrews got hurt, Tony Pollard got hurt. There's been a lot of guys that have gotten hurt, but these are big name players. And when they went down, they immediately were like, grabbing their legs and their knees. So it's immediate reaction, and then you throw in the flag. Whereas now, just any kind of tackle like that, I don't want to say it's a dirty play, but sometimes your body just moves that way, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you're running full speed, right? Like you said Derrick Henry, but I'll just use anyone for example. You're running full speed, and we're in the open field, and I dive towards you to make the tackle, right? And like I'm diving this way, you're coming this way, and I wrap my hands around you. My body
is going to fling behind.
It's going to fling behind, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be that tackle. So it's a difficult thing to have to account for.
Yeah. And you're just going to see a lot of shit. I mean, if you're going to make bold predictions, this will be the most missed tackles you'll ever experience in a season. Or is it going to be like a hand check in basketball, where, like how they don't necessarily call hand checks in the NBA until it's fucking convenient, and then every reach out or hand check they're going to call it. It could be one of those situations where if you're just a physical team and you're always tackling and it kind of teeters on that line, they're not going to call it every time, So that could happen, or you're just going to experience a shit ton of missed tackles, which I just don't. It's just your instinct as a kid playing football is always just get him down. No matter what you have to do, you just got to make sure he goes down. And it's worth the penalty. It'll for sure be worth the penalty. You're not going to miss the tackle and let him score.
Right.
You're going to take that penalty every time.
Yeah, it's what I used to love the PI call in college. Right? Like the PI call in college is just a 15-yard penalty instead of a spot foul. I remember arguing with my buddies back home that the NFL should do that. And they were like, bro, it's so dumb. Like, it's even dumb in college too, because if you have a walk-in touchdown, if I know it's only 15 yards, how many more PIs do you think there would be? Because we saw the Baltimore Ravens win the Super Bowl with the Hail Mary ball that Joe Flacco was throwing all the time. Just 3rd and 12, we're going to throw it up to Torrey Smith or Jacoby Jones, and hopefully they get a PI. And, like, there are a lot of offenses that they have that play. Yo, it's 3rd and 18, so go route, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, and hope for a PI. Spot foul in the end zone as opposed to a 15-yard penalty. I'll take the 15-yard penalty every time as opposed to 1st and goal on the 1.
Facts.
So it's going to be just I don't know. And you know what? And I was thinking about this because all the reactions have been negative. But I think this is an accumulation of year after year. The NFL does everything pro offense and neglects defense.
Yeah.
It's making it harder and harder for the defensive player every single week to be able to survive out there. And I think that is what it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. It's that analogy to a T, because you can't hit quarterbacks high, you can't hit quarterbacks low, you can't hit someone high,
right?
Because it's a penalty and a suspension. You don't want to, as a player in the league. There was an incident in the Lions-Rams game where Stafford Higbee blew out his ACL because he got hit,
right? And
Stafford went up to him, he was like, "Yo, bro, dirty play. We know you're a dirty player." And the guy was just like, "Yo, where you want me to hit him? If I hit him high, it's a suspension and a fine. I hit him low, his career, his knee injury."
Yeah.
You ask any pro player, any pro wide receiver or tight end or any pass catcher, would they rather be hit up high or low? They're going to be like, "Yo, up high. I'll get a concussion. I'll be out 2-3 weeks. Sure, I don't want to get 9 of them in a season.
Right.
But I'd rather that than one fucking 200-pound corner diving into my knee, blowing out my ACL. I'm out for the year."
Yeah.
And then who knows how that hinders my career. So I think this is just an accumulation of year after year. The NFL is pro offense, and we get it, right? Scoring was down this year. We'll get to that right after this. But scoring was down. They want points. It's more entertaining. And then you have all these calls where you can't hit the offensive player anywhere. You have the horse collar. And this is just like, yo, bro, what are we supposed to do as defensive players now? You can't even land on quarterbacks. Like, how many defensive players are landing like this?
Yeah.
They're like, yo, we're trying to brace ourselves because we don't want to. And then they're throwing the flag. They're like, dude, a guy just gets a two-hand shove on the QB, personal foul. It's like, come on, man. You're souring all your fans and you're souring all defensive players.
Yep. I think one rule, if they're going to implement any new rules for the offense, is, and it really just happened over this past year, these motions that the players are getting like crazy momentum heading up the line of scrimmage. Like, this is not Canadian football. That motion did not exist until last year. And if I'm wrong, fucking point it out, like that this was happening well before it. But last year there was so many times where you can see an offense out leverage a defense by just sprinting a guy in motion, and then that player in motion being able to go up a yard before the ball's even snapped.
I'm immediately thinking about the Miami Dolphins.
Dude, they did it so much.
Yeah, every single play was that. The Rams were doing it too.
Yeah.
A couple years before that when they won the Super Bowl.
I don't think the motions were like curving the way that they are like this past year. This past year, it literally felt like they would run the motion and they would be leaning like over the line of scrimmage damn near when the ball was snapped. And in the past, I just remember you had to stay on your path. And if you went any bit of up the field, it was a flag. I don't know.
It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating because the game of football has changed so much. And look, I get it. You want to protect the quarterbacks, right? By all means, do that. I'm pro all ruling that has to do with the quarterbacks. The only one I don't like is, when the guy gets sacked and the D lineman falls on top of him, that can't be a penalty, bro.
Yeah.
Now, if he's on top of him, takes his hands and fucking Undertaker chokes him to the ground, yeah, sure. That's a penalty, bro. That's unsportsmanlike.
Right.
But one of the reasons why numbers were down in the NFL, which was another thing.
Yeah, you sent me over that little Instagram.
I sent it to you, and this is what happened. Committee chairman Rich McKay said that the average points scored in NFL games last year was 43.5. Average points in 2020 was 49 points. Now, there are a bunch of different reasons, right? We were talking before we started recording. That was the COVID year. There was no real home field advantage. No one was playing with a fan base there. The only thing that was home field was like the weather, but when there's not 80,000 people all lubed up and drinking and hammered from 7 a.m., it don't really hit the same.
Correct.
And also, no one knew that a season was going to happen until it did happen. So there was no training camp. There was no proper practices. So that's why scoring was up then. A reason why scoring was down this year, though, goes back to what I was just talking about with the quarterbacks. I'm pro quarterbacks being healthy and available because when you don't have the quarterback healthy and available, you have 43.5 points per game last year. You have Joe Burrow hurt, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray was banged up to start the year. Like, this is why that quarterback is Daniel Jones got hurt. You know, I know the Giants weren't exactly dropping 30-point games all the time, but this is why these quarterbacks get paid so much money because, bro, how many times, let me ask you this, how many times have you watched a Sunday Night Football game and the two starting quarterbacks are out? How different do you feel watching that game? Because I remember there was a Saints-Cowboys game where Breeze and Romo were out. And you're like, bro, this is unwatchable.
Yeah, it gives you early Thursday night football vibes. Where you're like, this is the trash of the NFL. Like,
this is horrible. How is this a marquee game?
Before Thursday night football was like cared about and like Bezos was like, no, I'll pay you extra billions, but we're having the best of the best on Thursdays. It was a stretch there where it was just so bad, but I 100% agree with you. Let's keep these quarterbacks safe. I'm trying to think of a shitty Sunday night football matchup. I think it just ends up being any Kirk Cousins game before this past year where he like broke his primetime curse.
But just in general too, like
it was just weak.
If you're excited for the Week 13 Monday Night Football game, it's Bengals Chargers, and then you show up there and it's Stick and Browning.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, not looking forward to it as much. And I think that's a big reason why, circling back to what I just said, that's a big reason why scoring was down, bro. You take away these guys from these offenses, it changes everything.
I was going to highlight the fact, too, also that you got to see now this is a 3-year span where like this like analytics, go for it, right? Those couple of extra times that you go for it and you don't take the points, you got to think about it. It's a 2 field goal difference between what we had this year in 2020, and that's a one team on either side making the decision to take points. Is that a factor? Is analytics actually proven that you're stupid as shit, and you should always take points when you have the ability to get them on the board? Who knows,
bro? Fantastic point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
You got Dan Campbell, yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, I do know analytics plays in the factor as to why teams score more, but it also, when you're not good and you're not getting it, like, this is what happens.
And I've been asking the analytics people for months because I had that rant. Do the analytics account for whether or not your quarterback is trash? Or does every 4th and 2 from the 50 is it an auto play? You have to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go for it if it's Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But if I got Zach Wilson and Mac Jones as my quarterbacks, I'm probably not going to go for it. Do the analytics account for that? Mm-hmm. Or on the flip side, let's say it's Zach Wilson against the Chiefs. Remember the game he played this year? We were like, holy shit, he's going Mormon Mahomes. That's what they were calling. He's going toe-to-toe with the big dog. Is it one of those rare occasions where, like, yo, usually, George, you're the head coach, I'm the OC. Yo, coach, we usually don't go for it on 4th and 6 here, but, man.
He's playing good right now.
He's 24 of 27, bro. He's on fire. Like, let's go for it. Does that account for it? So I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I really don't know the answer. And it's something I'm going to take this offseason to definitely dive into.
For sure. I don't appreciate Amazon putting up the probabilities before I get the chance to see, run my own mental test. Like the graphics this year were crazy, bro. It was like it had the probability up, like as soon as the person was tackled on 3rd down, it was like, 30% 37%. You know, it says that you should go for it. I'm like, give me a second to process the game here. And I also don't like, because is Amazon treating everybody the same, to your point, right? Give me the analytics bot for that specific team. Then I would be like, all right, this is useful information. Because, yeah.
You know who does a really good job of that?
Who?
Sportsbooks.
Very true.
With their live odds.
Very true.
How many times have you see it happen a lot more in the UFC because it's a lot more visible, but you'll see someone dominated round one. Like, I mean, like he might have even scored a 10-8.
Mm-hmm.
But he's notoriously known for blowing his load early. He has no gas tank. And even though he got the 10-8, the other guy landed like 7 calf kicks, and he's limping to the where he should be with a 10-8. He should be minus 800 going into round 2. Maybe he's minus 200.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he takes one more leg kick, and then before you know it, he's an underdog because he's not wearing the leg kick right.
Mm-hmm.
So sportsbooks do a really good job of accounting for what you said. All right, this team is down 20 in the NBA, but a brawl just broke out, and Steph, Draymond, and Clay just got ejected. The Warriors are up 20, but they just got ejected. Normally, with 20 minutes to go, the line would be the other team is plus 1,200, but now it's plus 400. So is that accounted for?
Right, right.
Sportsbooks do a really good job of that.
I think that's the one thing that made me really love sports betting. If I'm going to be honest with you. Because before I, got super serious, then I would say the past year, you are looking at these numbers and you're just trying to make sense for it. And it's like deciphering a code. And, you have to sound like an idiot sometimes and like your own thoughts and theories behind why certain things are happening. And I think it was the live odds during football games that made me really be like, fuck, I'm onto something here. Like I'm a step ahead of what they're even predicting. And I think I'll even get better as time goes, but that's a fun game to play.
Oh, dude, there is nothing cooler as a sports bettor than when you beat the line.
Yep.
So say you're watching a fight, and it happened to me over the weekend. I was watching a fight. It was Aarons. Aarons was fighting Nugent. It was a prelim card on the UFC. I'm watching the fight. I'm like, man, Nugent is taking a lot of damage. He kind of looks gassed. I look at the betting odds, and I see it's a pick'em. Like, all right, so I bet Aarons. Minute later, round ends, live odds, minus 800 Aarons. I'm like, oh, bro.
Fucking
I just got a pick?
sniped.
Oh, dude, I feel like I just robbed the fucking casino blind with my $30 bet right there.
Right.
But it makes me feel good when you do beat it. Now, look, it's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it might go the other way, which happens also, but that's a really good feeling when it does happen.
Yeah. I'm also just like at the point now where like Cameron will send me like, oh, I'm betting on these teams, and I'm able to calculate without knowing any of the odds, like what a parlay payout would be for like a 3-teamer and shit. And like, I'm getting pretty fucking scary good at this, where I'm just like, I think I have a problem. Not a problem, but like a Rain Man superpower.
Is it on the spread?
Yeah. Or like, yeah, I'll be able to calculate money line and roughly guesstimate like, what a payout would be.
Yeah, I could do that with spreads, because a lot of the spreads are like pretty standard.
Yeah,
right?
minus
so like,
110. Yeah.
Minus 110. You do a 2-legger, you'll probably get plus 230.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
Then a 3-legger will probably get you plus 5 to 600, and then a 4-legger will get you 10 to 12 to 1 odds. Right. And then anything after that essentially doubles.
Yeah.
After that, that's like
but
the
money line.
But money line's different. Money line is definitely
that's where
different.
you're just like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's very important, very, very important to shop the lines too. Because especially in the parlay market, what happens, and I do this every week, dude. Everybody always asks me, like, yo, what app do you use? I go, apps.
Yeah.
All of them. I have money on all of them. And if there's money I don't have on one, I'll deposit to make the right bet. It's whether it's straight bets, whether it's parlays. And with parlays, it's a big payout anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, just using you as an example, you see a 4-leg money line parlay, you see 20-1, you're probably like, oh shit, that's dope. Well, the other sportsbook might have it 23-1. You're like, it doesn't matter, dude, $3 more. Over a long period of time,
Hell
you're
yeah, it
being fleeced
matters.
out of $3. I'll go even further. There's some sports books where that 20-1 parlay might be 50-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to put the same bet in.
Yeah.
If I can parlay, so when I do the subathon every week, the 3 legs to win by submission, I'll run it on every single sports book that allows me to parlay props.
Right.
And then from there, I'll make my final call on the one that gives me the best odds.
Mm-hmm.
Because I might put $100 on my subathon and it pays $2,300, but then the other sports book might pay $9,800. It's like, wow, bro, this is. I know that's an extreme range, but
here's a interesting thing. I'm wondering: has there ever been a time with a book that does allow you to place the prop bets to win by submission, right? But one of the selections is unavailable. Like you go to put it in and you're like, because this is the same thing as like beating the line, in my opinion, where you go to put that in and you're normally able to put that bet in, but it like locks on one, maybe 2 fighters or something.
yeah.
You know?
So I used to think that it was only happening to me,
Okay.
but it happens often, and sometimes it'll happen when it's like a winning bet that you want to make. That's really frustrating. But you also got to remember that, especially someone like me who streams everything, I'm really like a minute behind. So there'll be times where I'm watching a fight and then I'll go to bet it and it'll lock. And then I look up and the guy just got TKO'd. And I'm like, oh.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense now.
I was mainly talking though about like beforehand, because there has been times where like you can't combine certain combinations.
Well, that's
another thing. But I was just wondering if specifically for subathon, has there ever been a time where you're like,
no,
a dude was locked?
For subathon, no. But that's why DraftKings and FanDuel is so popular, because their thing is the same game parlay.
Mm-hmm.
They'll give you options for like 10,000 things to same game parlay. Whereas other sports books, they might limit you after like 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like 5 props is cool. But
Yeah.
FanDuel will be like, they pay up to $1 million on parlays.
I have an interesting question, and it's going to somewhat sidetrack us, but I do have, it's just sports betting talk here. Have you seen the line for Jake Paul and Mike Tyson?
I have.
Okay. So I was told that Mike Tyson's fight versus Roy Jones Jr., this past one that he had when they're older, they eventually just gave everyone their money back that put bets on the fight, because there was no winner. Like I don't know why they would even take action on a fight that doesn't have a clear winner, but it looks like this might be one of those situations again. Why do you think they take this action? Because I have a thought.
I think they take the action because it's a spectacle.
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
I fucked that up.
You're good.
But it's such a big occasion that you're going to get, Austin, who doesn't really bet, for example, our buddy Austin, will be like, oh, dude, I hate Jake Paul. Tyson's going to knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to go there and just blindly bet, right? People are just going to blindly bet. And then also, I think Roy Jones and Tyson agreed not to knock out each other.
Right.
Sportsbooks don't know that. So a lot of times with these kind of bets, what they'll do is they'll limit you.
Got you.
They'll say, you know what? Not more than $500 on certain bets.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want more than that, you go, here, pit boss, come here.
Right.
Manager, check, right? And they'll investigate it. Hey, how come you want to put that much there? What is it? Because look, man, a lot of these they're just such popular events, and you get so many casuals to tune into them.
Right.
I think that's why they mainly limit you. And then a lot of times, bro, like you should have an idea of what the rules are for every fight. Like there's some of these fights where they're like, yo, it's only 6 rounds. Like don't bet the round 10 prop, which
Right.
they'll have up there. They'll
Right.
have it up there to make you bet it.
Yeah.
So you have to know these things.
And that right there, the newbie sense of it all, and like the not understanding the rules, it puzzled me, bro, because I was like, why the fuck would they be taking bets right now for a fight that they're not even sure how it's going to play out? But then I was like, One thing. They're afraid to lose money in March Madness. And if you get a whole bunch of people, it's one thing to put Mike Tyson as like a minus 200 favorite, which realistically should be what it is. There's another thing to make him a fucking 4-1, at some places 6-1 underdog. It makes me want to bet the house, which then puts extra money into circulation. And those sports books don't give a shit if, the fight doesn't end up happening anyways and they have to give people their money back. But they can get a shit ton of capital on a nothing burger of a fight to recoup for any losses, and which is like the underdog month of the year, which is March. That was just, I know it's sidetracked. I don't know what made me go there, but I was like, why did they take this action?
It's interesting because we haven't
gotten
a chance to talk about it too. Hot take, I think the line is accurate.
Whoa.
I mean, bro, he's 60.
I can't. I guess.
Bro, he's 60 years old. Like, look, and it's not Mike Tyson from back in the day. And
yeah,
I know he looked amazing when he's hitting the pads and the gloves, but
true,
people need to get out of their mind that this kid's a YouTuber. Like, he's actually a pretty good boxer. Like, if Jake Paul wasn't a YouTuber and just started boxing, people would be like, yo, he has a very powerful right hand. He has some nice fundamentals. But it's the fact that, he was on YouTube with his brother, that he has that stigma that he's going to carry with him forever.
Right.
When he's fought actual boxers, he hasn't done well.
Right.
And I think with Tyson, there's a 37-year age gap.
Yeah.
The youth Tyson's going to probably go out to knock him out round 1 or 2. Jake got to weather that storm, and it could happen.
Yeah.
But I also think that that's a lot of years, bro. How old's your dad?
My dad's Mike Tyson's age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably Jake Paul's age.
No, Jake Paul's a little older than me. Like 4 years older than me. Wait, how old is Jake Paul? I'm 25.
I think Jake Paul is 26.
Damn. You know it's hella depressing?
What?
Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs at the same age that I am.
He's
right
27.
now.
He's 27.
Fuck.
Okay.
Fuck.
Bro,
I could have been Lamar Jackson.
It's like a 30-year age difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Jake Paul.
No,
wins.
you're highlighting a good point. I thought it was nuts to see Mike Tyson at like 4-1. Like
everybody did. Everybody felt that way. It kind of has, you know what it kind of reminds me of? And this is going to sound even crazier. It's kind of because I'm going to compare Jake Paul to Floyd Mayweather just for this example. Remember when Mayweather fought Conor?
Mm-hmm.
Conor was like plus 600 and everybody was betting Conor to the point where like the line dropped to like minus 200 for Floyd. And every pro bettor was like, I've never bet boxing, but I'm putting a significant amount, 29 unit play on Mayweather. Bro, I think Jake beats him. I really do. I think Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson, and it's going to suck when it happens because Mike's one of our heroes, and I've got to meet Mike Tyson a bunch of times. A great guy, hilarious, and no one likes Jake Paul. And he's going to go out there, and I think he goes out there and he beats Mike Tyson.
All right.
That's a massive age gap, bro.
I get what you're saying here. And I do think that Mike Tyson needs to like let his clips roll. Like when I've been seeing these highlight of him hitting the mitts, I mean, it's like literally like 0.8 seconds worth of a video. It's like da da da, and then it just cuts to another 0.8 seconds. Like whoever the editor is, he's doing a great job because it makes Mike Tyson look like a fucking Super Smash character.
Yeah,
yeah. I just I don't even think the fight's gonna happen, to be honest. But FanDuel just wanted to steal everybody's money and then refund. And they still get money on the back end of that somehow. Yeah. It's not a full refund.
Nah, what they'll do is, what sportsbooks will do is
they'll credit you.
They'll credit you or
Oh, that if they credited me, I would be like, you give me back my fucking money.
I mean, bro, like this happened a lot in the daily fantasy community, and my friends and I dude, I used to play FanDuel and DraftKings like a psychopath back in the day when you would make the actual fantasy lineups, the actual
I never have done that, by the way.
because it wasn't in Nevada.
Yeah.
That's why.
I think there's still a piece of me that wants to do it. It still exists, right?
It still exists. It's also a totally different game. Like, dude, I used to think, yo, I know football. I know fantasy football. Like, now I can play anyone I want. Nah, there's a lot of ownership. Like, is this guy going to be the most popular running back on the slate? Do we take him? Do we fade him in case he does shit the bed? Do you stack your quarterback with 2 receivers to get double the points? Do you run it back with another receiver for game flow? Like, there's a lot of shit in that. It's a whole different animal. Like, I have friends that are amazing, play professional fantasy football leagues for like $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 buy-ins. Can't do dick in daily fantasy. It is a whole nother level. I actually became a way better daily fantasy player than I did yearly fantasy because the best analogy that I could give to people, not even an analogy, but just think about this is you have the number 1 pick in your draft. Whoever you take, you're never going to bench them.
Right.
You take McCaffrey number 1. He's playing every single week. Even if he plays the LA Rams, who are the number 1 run defense of all time, Aaron Donald came back from retirement. He's still playing out there. Like, you're still going to play McCaffrey. Where in the DFS community, you're looking at that specific matchup and you're like, do I take McCaffrey in this tough matchup when he's going to be 2% owned? And if he does pop off, especially where, McCaffrey is $10,000 to put him in at running back.
Got you.
Because they give you a budget. They give you a budget, right?
Got you.
So, like, there's pivots off that. McCaffrey's 10K, Saquon's 10.1K, Derrick Henry's 9.5K. McCaffrey has the hardest matchup of the 3. Derrick Henry's playing the Texans. They give up 300 yards to him every time he plays. You know he's going to be 70% owned. Do you fade Henry and hope he duds? So, like, that's where it's a whole nother animal.
Got you.
The daily fantasy stuff.
So I'm assuming you're just looking for low ownership players that are going
low
that
ownership,
are going to boost.
Low ownership and matchups is exactly it. Because if you have one guy,
damn, I got to try this next.
Yeah, if you have one guy that's 25% owned and you have another guy that's 80% owned, they're the same price. You should always lean towards the 25% owned player because if he gets you 20 points, that other guy gets you 12 points. You've leapfrogged about 80% of the field. So
Makes
that's
sense.
where daily fantasy is a whole different.
And you play head to head, or you're just trying to get the best roster of the week?
You could play head to head.
And then how do you get money from this?
You and I go head to head. We join the $100 matchup. I submit $100 to the website. You submit $100 to the website, and then I think winner gets $190. So they make
their 10%
Yeah, they make a percentage off that. Head to heads, but then head to heads is a whole different approach. I named you tournament style.
Okay.
So like in tournaments, you want to pivot. It's a whole thing, bro. Like
I'm
something that I could dedicate. I could dedicate an episode.
We're degening right now because like this sounds lit.
And the reason why I bring all that up is because, dude, I used to play that, and like there was a running joke where if FanDuel, like something happened, like they'll be like, Jimmy Butler is not playing tonight. For all of you that had Jimmy Butler in your lineups and they ruled him out after locks, we'll give you a voucher for a free entry. And then the free entry is like a $5 entry. And you're like, what the fuck? My shit was $150. Like what happens to the other $145? Like, why can't I get that back? So that's what sportsbooks are, not as petty, but the sportsbook will be like, oh yeah, we'll give you $10 free bets. And you're like, yeah, but I just lost $300 on that. What the, so
I don't see the correlation.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Snead leaving the Kansas City Chiefs, goes to the Tennessee Titans to join our boy Calvin Ridley.
Man.
One of us, baby.
Yeah. Snead isn't one of us yet.
Nah, he don't degen. And hopefully he doesn't with all the craziness going around with Otani and all this other stuff. You know, it's just
Better to lay low.
really wacky.
I am shocked that the Chiefs couldn't figure this out.
I think this was a great move for Kansas City.
Okay. What do you think it's... So what did Kansas City get in return?
They got a 3rd-round pick and I believe a 5th-round pick.
All right.
The reason why I like the move for the Chiefs is because we knew they couldn't keep both on defense, right? That's what everyone was saying?
Correct.
Like they couldn't keep Chris Jones and him.
Yeah, but then I heard that Patrick Mahomes restructured his contract so that there would be more availability this year. Or was that a false claim?
No, he did restructure his contract. He's going to get it in further years.
Right,
Whenever a guy restructures, it's not that
he's not going to get it. He's just delaying it.
Yeah, he's taking a pay cut for that season.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Mahomes is just like, that $22 million, I don't ever want it. Like, no, he's not saying that. So, Snead is 27 years old. He plays cornerback, which, in my opinion, is probably the hardest position in the NFL other than quarterback to play, especially nowadays where you can't bump and run as much.
Yep.
What's a holding? What's not? What's PI? What's not? And then you're also starting backwards against the other fastest players on the field. So I think quarterback
it's a guessing game.
Is very, very difficult. The reason why I like this move for Kansas City, I'm not saying that he's washed by any means, but he'll be 28 this football season. Corners, he had an amazing season this year. But they have McDuffie, who was an all-pro last year.
Yeah.
So he was kind of expendable.
Yeah. I mean, you say expendable, but that defense that the Chiefs were playing towards the end of the year last year was, it was locked down, dude. And that is only achieved when you have like the trust and the faith of two beings that can lock up both sides of the field.
Sure, absolutely. And McDuffie and him played really, really great. But Kansas City, I feel like they get the benefit of the doubt. I think they'll find someone in the draft. They'll address it in the draft. They still have Watson there. You know, he was a little banged up last year, but you have McDuffie on the one side. Watson played in the Super Bowl the year before that against the Eagles. I mean, that was one thing I was raving about, how the entire draft class contributed to a box score stat in that Super Bowl. So now he'll be in year 3. But I think he's expendable because you have another luxury in McDuffie, who was an all-pro last year. So not saying that Snead is bad, but they probably didn't want to lock themselves into that contract. And then they probably valued Chris Jones more, and I would have too. And I think Chris Jones was the right guy to keep around because he can impact the game in way more ways than Snead could.
Corners are the running backs of defense. You want them young. You want to abuse them and then ship them off before they get expensive and mouthy. You want to keep them when they're like at their prime. You know, you just think of like, I brought up Namdi Asama the previous week. It was a prime situation of a guy that you get him on the later half of his career, lots of miles. Not everybody's Patrick Peterson, you know? They realistically have a 5-year window.
Now, you bring up a good point, man, because I always feel like corner is just like year to year. The guy that was that's what makes you great, right? Like Revis was that dude for so long. Champ Bailey was that dude for so long. But you've seen it, bro. Like, dude, Janoris Jenkins on the Giants in 2016 was, is that the real Revis out there for us? Like, he was locked down. Next year was getting deep fried.
Yeah.
Was getting cooked bad. You're like, what happened year over year? Like, you're in your mid-20s. Happens all the time. That's why I think Sauce is so great. Sauce has been doing it now for a couple of years now, and it's back-to-back good seasons where he's not a liability. But, man, you've seen it like Brandon Carr used to play with the Cowboys. One year he had a monster year, then the next year, like, he couldn't guard anybody.
Yeah.
You see it happen all the time, man.
I think it's also like, watch this next year. Trevon Diggs is going to be public enemy number 1 for a lot of receivers. I think there's lots of tape on you too. Like when you're a corner, it's not like you're just having to watch tape of the receivers and pick up their tendencies. Like you suck at doing certain things and it will be exposed.
Oh yeah.
The longer
If they see you on slants, you're like so overly aggressive where you're coming down and you're breaking up the pass.
Right.
Well, they're gonna run the Madden sluggo on you, slant and go, and before you know it, house call. You know, I used to do a show with Will Blackman. He said the sluggo route, we called it the house call, because if you hit on that, it's a touchdown every single time. Because when you're on an island as a DB, the guy runs a slant and you're playing the slant and then he turns it upfield because he has the angle on you.
See ya.
It's deuces. He called it the house call.
If they're even, he's leaving.
Yeah.
Boom.
Let's go. I haven't heard that in a while, but that's a bar.
That's a football. That's a football guy right there.
That is. So Snead goes to the Titans. They're kind of rebuilding. They're trying to get some identity and having some star power there. They spent a lot of money in this free agency. But they're also doing a complete coach. Yeah, they're also doing a complete rebuild, man. Because look, Tannehill, Derrick Henry. If you go back a couple of years ago, AJ Brown, which that looks even more ridiculous now because the money that they didn't want to pay AJ Brown is what they gave Calvin Ridley. And even in Calvin Ridley's best days, I don't think he's as good as AJ Brown. And AJ Brown is younger,
right?
So,
I think the
I
real
don't like that one, man.
I may be forgetting this wrong, but did Mariota lose the spot, or did they hand it back to Tannehill? Because I felt like that was Mariota's.
It was Mariota's team, and then Tannehill came in, and they just went crazy and just never looked back.
I think that was also a big turning point.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, AJ Brown 26, Calvin Ridley 29, like why wouldn't you want to have a young stud wide receiver like AJ Brown if you're going to go out and spend money? Like that's the thing that I don't understand. I'll never understand when teams do this. You go and sign someone that's either the same guy as the guy that you have already on your team, or he's worse.
Yeah.
Like I remember the Giants, they signed Golden Tate. Mm-hmm. It's like, bro, why would you sign Golden Tate? You have Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
You have Evan Ingram, who was lining up in the slot all the time, too. Like, you have the same guys.
There is something to be said, and I think us as just the casuals, we don't look at it as much, but when there's new coaching regimes and those position coach changes and everything, I mean, these guys that are NFL coaches have been coaching for at least 10 to 15 years in multiple locations for sure. It becomes a politics thing where it's just like, yeah, I know Golden Tate can do this because I saw him at Florida when Golden Tate was a Notre Dame grad.
Notre Dame, yeah.
I coached him at Notre Dame. So I think we would be able to better predict some of these things. I guarantee you if you look at who the Titans acquired for their defensive coaching staff, somewhere along the line, there's a L'Jarius Snead connection.
There.
Yep.
That's a good point. I never thought about that, but yeah, it could be. Because guys come in and they want to. I didn't draft George. I don't want him.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with this shit.
Shit happens all the time. Yeah. But then on the other hand, it's why wouldn't you want to keep George if he's an All-Pro?
True.
And he's 26 years old, like AJ Brown is.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. I like that. I like the move for the Titans for Snead, and I also like the move for Kansas City, man. I think Kansas City is setting themselves up again nicely, and we got to wait and see what they do with the draft. Like, look, this is a team that not too long ago, every single draft pick panned out for them. Isaiah Pacheco is a 7th-round pick. He's their starting running back. So them now having an additional 3rd-round pick,
yeah,
it's very solid, very solid. 3rd-round picks like start on your team.
Facts.
It's not
especially on the defensive side.
Yeah. So let's see. One team that I really like what the Jets are doing this offseason.
I mean,
I like it so much that I'm willing to go out on a limb. And George, I'll say that this is the year you should bet the Jets, not what everyone was doing last year. Because this happens all the time, right? They signed Tyron Smith from the Cowboys. They signed Mike Williams. They're going to have a top 10 pick in the draft. They're going to get Aaron Rodgers back. I think you're going to get a pissed off Aaron Rodgers. I think you're going to get y'all must have forgot Aaron Rodgers. and they're making improvements on their team. And now there's no expectation because everybody got soured on what happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle of March Madness, right? Do you remember the first time a 16 seed beat a 1 seed? It was Virginia that lost.
Correct.
The next year, what happened? Virginia won the national title. But no one wanted to bet on Virginia because they were like, that's the team.
Right.
Those the motherfuckers that lost as a 16 seed.
Yep.
This is very similar with the Jets. The most heavily wagered team to win their division, most heavily wagered team to make the playoffs, most heavily wagered team to win their conference. And then, of course, they were 15-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. I said they should have been closer to 35-1. If you bet it before Aaron Rodgers got in there, it was 35-1. When he got there, it was 15-1, and that was because of public perception. Now what I think is going to happen is I don't think you're going to see the Jets that high up because now they're at the 30-40-1 odds now at the time that we're recording this, but also people get PTSD from betting, bro. Like how many people, or maybe even you're like, dude, I'm never taking the Raiders again. Fuck that team.
Yeah.
Or I'm never betting on this fighter again. Every time I bet him, he gets submitted.
Yep.
It's like a lot of people feel that way. And then what happens is the number is not as inflated as it should be.
Right.
It's actually, that's where you get the value. So I'm on the Jets this year, man. I think from a betting standpoint, I think this would be the year that I would get behind the Jets.
I'm with you 10,000%. Like I'm excited to finally get to see it in action. I'm excited to, ride the wave of them being underdogs early in the season. The schedule hasn't come out yet. I guarantee you they're going to get a fucking tough ass first game. Do you think they get the first game of the year like how they did this past year? It was a Thursday night game.
It was Monday Night Football.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I thought it was Thursday night.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Do they get the first game of the year?
I'll tell you this. You could look up now who your team is playing this year. You don't know when they're playing them, but all the schedule opponents are out now.
Got you.
So if you guys are watching this, you want to go see what home game you want to go to, you want to go see what road game you should go to, just go to your team's website.
So it'll tell you home and away.
It'll tell you home and away, but it doesn't tell you week 7,
Got
week
you.
9, right? Like that'll come out in about 2 months.
Got you.
So that was another thing with the NFL being a 12-month sport because March you have free agency, NFL draft comes out in April, right? And then May is like, oh, schedule release. We're going to talk about the schedule for 2 weeks.
Yep.
How dare they put Bengals and Jaguars in London? We want to see that. Like all that shit happens. But with the Jets, home games obviously in division and away, right? You have that. But then at home, they play the Texans, the Colts, the LA Rams, the Seahawks, and the Broncos. And on the road, they play the Steelers, Jaguars, Titans, Vikings, Niners, Cardinals. Bro,
they're either playing on the road against the Niners or they're playing at home versus the Texans.
Yeah,
Game 1, Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
I'm calling it. And they will be a dog in both of those games. Give me the Jets.
Shit, I'll tell you this much, though. Just on the surface, I like the schedule for them.
Yeah, it sounded like a, dare I say, walk in the park type of schedule.
I mean, you get the Rams and Texans at home,
Colts.
two tough opponents, and then your road games are at Niners. Who knows what Minnesota's doing? Who knows what Arizona's doing? Jaguars, Titans. I think it's
a 50 touchdown year for A-Rod.
This is this is the year to get on the Jets, and I would love for them to get another receiver in the draft. Right, Mike Williams is on a 1-year deal.
Right.
Which is great because you're going to get the best out of him too. He's coming off the ACL. He wants to prove himself so he could get paid.
Right.
Actually get paid. This is a guy who was making 20-something million a year with the Chargers. I think you take
McConkey. Go ahead. My bad.
I was going to say the dude from Odunze.
Oh, you want Odunze might be taken earlier than that. What's her? Because McConkey's the white slot receiver from Georgia.
You can't take him in like the. Oh, are you talking about like Bowers too? Bowers.
Oh,
nice.
wait. I mean Brock Bowers is the tight end though.
Tight end, yeah. They need one.
Give me Bowers and McConkey, bro.
Bowers, you take Bowers, Rodgers has his tight end, and then you trade next year's one and get another receiver just because you're like, yo, we're going all in for real. But I think they either take an offensive lineman or they take a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I really like the Jets this year. This is the year that I would be. Last year, there was no chance in hell, and I didn't bet on the Jets. I was like, nah, if it happens to be the Jets year, so be it. I'll take the L. But I'm not betting those with everyone on them, and I'm not betting those odds. All those odds were like cut in half.
Right.
Every single odd was cut in half. You weren't getting the good value. Where this year, I think this is the year you jump on the Jets bandwagon.
Is this going to be the veterans minimum pool? Are we going to try to do this together? Where we'll make a sizable wager on this because they got to be what right now?
35-1.
Okay. It's only going to lower after the draft.
Yeah.
I feel like after the draft, every team is gonna. We'll see. Slightly.
Yeah, after the draft for sure, and then once things start to get closer to the season, what's going to be the hype team, right? Like last year, the Bears around this time were 100-1, and then when week 1 got kicked off, they were 30. You're like, whoa, what is happening? So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. Let us know what you guys think about the Jets. Is this the year to bet the Jets? Is this the year that Gang Green can make some noise after failed expectations last year? With all that being said, thank you for joining us today. Shout out to Sticky Paws Studio, giving us a home to record Veterans Minimum, the #1 sports betting vibe on the internet. At Nick Day is Tenders, you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. George, the floor is yours.
At Mr_George_Carmona. All social media platforms. Big things that I got coming up. I guess like one of my favorite shows recently, Nikki at Night. I'm not even kidding. We play board games every Monday night. Nikki at Night on YouTube. Search it up. Give it a follow. Subscribe. Notification bell. Boom. Thank you.
We'll catch you guys next time.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.